Hey, this is Jerry Harris. You're in tune to Up Close and Personal with 10-Star General and Sharon Mango, so don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. Hey, listen up. This is Jerry Harris, SPRB Radio Podcast Show. Check it out with 10-Star General and Sharon Mango. A live conversation show. Check it out. Don't left it out.
I see the other day somebody talking about Ableton. They bringing Ableton into this and that.
SPRB Radio Podcast. SPRB Radio Podcast.
Subscribe.
And Sharon Mango.
Yo, this is General Levy, and I support and tune into SPRB Radio Podcast featuring the 10-Star General and Sharon Mango. You should know!
Check it out, check it out, check it out now. Yes, SPRB Radio Podcast with 10-Star General and Sharon Mango. Check it out.
All I can say is, Sly, welcome to the SPRB Radio family. You are
What I say, welcome. You are part of this.
Mr. Easy representing for SPRB Radio. SPRB, what we tell them, say, me have to stop school, my mama wasn't working, and my daddy was gone. Gunshots saw rain again. I don't wanna be a memory, but I see no real solution. SPRB Radio, Mr. Easy.
Greetings, one and all. Greetings. I'm your host, 10-Star General, and today we have another brilliant show for you. Sharon Mango will not be in the building today. She'll be back with us next week. And today we have an alkaline naturalist. She's an alkaline naturalist. She's a lady who has helped me with my journey with cancer. And I am receiving results, some great results. And I've been trying to get her on my show for the longest while. And today we have been able to get hold of her. All right. I'm tying a chain and a bolt to her leg so she can't get away from me today. She goes by the name of Heals Natural. And here she is. Heals.
Blessings and greetings, my brother. So nice to be able to see you today.
Yes, we've been trying to get this going for a while, and we nearly had it, but we are having some technicalities, and now you're here.
Things only happen when it's time for them to happen.
For real.
So it's obviously the time, because as you say, it's been a while, it's been a while, and I've been running away from it, but sometimes there's nowhere to run. You have to do what you need to do. So that's where we are today. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for inviting me.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you.
We're going to get down to it. And I met you last year. I think it was around about June. Was introduced to you by a mutual friend of ours, Desmond Nichols. And his words to me, B, I got this brilliant empress. She can heal you. And I said, who is that? And he said to me, he mentioned your name. And when he mentioned your name, I met you for the first time. And since this journey began, right? Mm-hmm. It was a hard. I don't know how to explain that word hard, because I remember saying to you, how am I going to beat this? You said raw food. And I said to you, I am used to my wool sausages, baked beans.
Something very different, yeah.
And he said, Balaji, there's no way you can eat that no more,
Mm-hmm. Changes.
Yes, the changes. And when I was able to make those changes, I saw the results. So today, I want to introduce you to the world. So that
Thank you.
Share with us the power behind food. So I'm just getting 1 second. Right. So yes. So, I want to introduce you to the world because you are an amazing lady. And today we want to figure out what this word alkaline is and how it can benefit all of us. It's benefiting me, so I know people will be able to, get something from this. So just introduce yourself to the world who might be listening in.
Okay, my name is Hills by choice, because I love the hills. I love the mountains. I love everything that is green.
Right,
And I have a very close relationship with nature.
right,
And I think that's what's brought me to where I am today. So I can't tell my story without including nature.
right.
Um, I grew up, like most of us, in a household with parents that went back and forward from the Caribbean. And I never quite understood why my mother would go away to Dominica with a
Yeah,
suitcase full of clothes and come back with what I regarded to be a suitcase full of bush, but these are
yeah,
the same things that she used to heal us and strengthen us as children. And, my mother had that too, relationship with nature.
yeah,
Um, so my past has led me to this very point that I am in today,
right.
using the knowledge and the wisdom of nature
Hmm.
to help balance the self and reset the self. Yeah.
Right,
Um, what I know is I have never trained or been to college or university or any school of learning. I
right.
have I lost faith, to be truthful, with
Mm,
um, doctors, the traditional way of doing things now.
mhm.
I lost total faith in the way that things were done. And I realized I had to find an alternative mean,
Right,
an original means.
right.
And me, in my experience, that means led me back to the earth. As I say, have not been in any form of college, but I have researched for the last 7 years, painstakingly research
Mm,
and develop my knowledge and use myself.
mm,
All of that knowledge I gain, if I give anybody any advice about anything, it has to have first been part of my experience. So if I
mhm.
haven't experienced it, I'm not even going to recommend it.
Right,
And it's changed my life. And it has brought me full circle back to nature. And
right.
I'm now at the understanding that everything that we need,
Mm,
everything that we want is within nature, and it can
right,
be sourced.
right.
Yeah.
So that so since you told me about alkaline, I got to understand there's acidic foods and there's alkaline foods, right? Now, at the time
Mm-hmm.
when I was doing my search, after you introduced it to me, I saw some things like breadfruit, maybe sweet potatoes, and it had it under alkaline. But you said to me that wasn't alkaline, right?
Yes,
Right.
absolutely. I would say, even before we start with alkalinity, I would say first and foremost, we all have a body. We are all born within this physical sense that we call a body or our temple,
Mhm. Right.
but we have no idea what it really requires
Mm.
to be at optimum.
Right.
We do not know the difference between our wants and our needs,
Right.
and our bodies need certain things. If they don't get certain things, they
Hmm.
can't function as they're supposed to. I mean,
Right.
a good brethren of mine used the analogy, and I use it too, that
I'm not hearing you. I'm not hearing you for some reason. Um, not hearing you, Hills. Okay. For some reason, we're having some sort of technical problem. We're having some technical issues. Bear with me a second while I try to get through with what's going on. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. For a few minutes, we couldn't hear you.
Okay, no problem.
Right.
Things happen.
Mm-hmm.
That's technology for you.
Tell me about it.
You can
Right.
hear me now, though, right?
I can hear you, yeah.
I was speaking about the car analogy and saying that, you know, nobody's going to take their good car and
Right.
put gas into an electric car
Right.
or diesel into a gas engine. Nobody's going to do that
Mm-hmm.
because they want their car to run optimally. But we have something far greater than the car, which is our body. If we don't have this body, we can't have this experience.
Yeah.
So it should be paramount that we know, we don't think, but we know how to look after it.
Right.
Now, I would say as beings, we haven't really made any real choices. We are habitual creatures, and we just generally speaking do what our parents do.
Right.
But our parents ate, we ate. What their parents ate, they ate. We don't question what we're eating or why we're eating, or we eat automatically for the most part. Some of
Absolutely.
us 3 meals a day,
Yeah.
with meals in between.
Yeah.
The body doesn't need it. The body can't hold. So not just are we not giving our body the right food, we're giving our bodies too much
Yeah.
of this so-called not right food.
Right.
Now, to get to the point of the conversation about alkalinity, what we need to understand is what we call food. What is food? We have been brought up to understand that these certain products that we see in the supermarket are foods.
Right.
For me, they are so-called foods.
Right.
If we have to define what is food, food is not what you can buy in a supermarket. It's not what you can buy in a food is what you can buy in a supermarket or a hypermarket. But your body does not need food. It needs fuel.
Right.
And fuel cannot necessarily be bought in a supermarket.
Right.
Foods that contain fuel, they come from the earth.
Okay.
So-called foods, we will find them in our supermarkets.
Right.
So we have to be able to make that distinction personally as to what the difference between what we've been told food is and what food actually is.
I think a lot of us are hypnotized into eating the wrong foods on a daily basis, you know, because and I kind of looked at that from a sense where when you introduced alkaline foods to me and I started eating that on a regular basis, I got to understand, because it's almost like a waking up period where
definitely
I kind of looked at the past of what I was eating, and I'm now asking myself, how did I let myself get to that stage? You know?
But the thing is, you didn't have a choice. You never made a choice until you made a choice.
Right.
Because the reality is, as children, we don't make choices about what foods we eat.
Right.
Or how often we eat. We eat what our parents eat culturally,
Very
or
true.
nationally. So that is not a choice. That is a habit. So most of us go through our whole lives without making any choice about what we eat. We simply eat habitually. We only make a conscious decision about our eating when our minds are conscious.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know, when you've been brought into a situation where you as you were saying, in your experience, you realize that this food is hurting,
Yeah.
but this food can be healing.
Right.
Maybe that was the first time you'd ever, for a lot of people, the idea of food healing is something we don't quite understand. We believe that pills can heal us,
Right.
tablets can heal us, medicines can heal us, but food cannot heal us.
Right.
But when we think about it, what was here first?
Food.
The foods or the
Yeah.
medicine?
The foods. And the
The
funny
foods
thing
are
is,
always there.
it seems as though the because every so often I've got to go to the oncology department in Charing Cross, right? And
Mm-hmm.
when my numbers started coming down, because they have something called the Gleason report, and the Gleason report tells you whether you're stage 2, 3, 4, cancer.
Yes.
So initially, my numbers went from 3, and it went down to about 6. And they said, what are you doing to increase the number? Because there's something that you're eating that is maybe inflaming it. So I went to a class,
Mm-hmm.
and then all the stuff that you were telling me that I shouldn't be eating, they were telling me it's okay to eat. So, so, and I remember telling you about that, and you educated me on, the alkaline foods, what I should stay away from, which was a bit of a drama trying to do on a regular basis. But when I was able to do
Things is
that,
hard.
numbers went down from 6 to 4, and then went further down to 3. So I'm at 3 at the moment, you know. So when I went back to the
That's
doctor,
wonderful.
doctor asked me what it is I'm doing. So when I said to him I was eating alkaline foods, he asked me, what is
What is
that?
that? Yes. And
So
because most doctors, nutrition is the thing they do minimally. I think it's some hours in the whole of their 4 years training,
yeah,
and
for
which is so they are not going to encourage you to heal with food. It's not what they've been trained to themselves to even have an
right,
understanding of.
right,
Um, yes, when you start the journey, because what we have to get an understanding of is that the manufactured foods, the synthetic foods, the bioengineered foods that we're eating, they
mm,
cause an imbalance within our systems,
right,
because our body's made up of systems,
right,
and it imbalances it, and it causes a state of what is called acidosis. So the body is overrun with acid, which causes inflammation in the body, builds up mucus in the body, in the joints, gives the body pains, bloats the body. Now,
mm,
if we continue to eat those foods, yet go to the doctor and say we're ill,
yeah,
we will never find a permanent solution,
right,
because we are taking our tablets, but we're not changing our ways of eating.
right,
If the body's in a state of acidosis, it has to be rebalanced into a
right,
state of alkalinity, and that can only be achieved through eating alkaline foods.
right,
And that is difficult for most of us to be able to identify, because when we come here, we're born to seeing a lot of different fruits and foods, and
right,
because we're brought up seeing them, we take it for granted that they're all natural, but they're
right,
not. Even a lot of the fruits and the vegetables that we eat, they are not indigenous inherent foods. They are genetically modified.
right,
Or, when the divine made this particular fruit and that particular fruit, each of them had their own properties.
right,
And but by taking them now and putting them together, uh, reaction has been caused that even the creator of that has no idea
mm,
of what that causes.
right,
So the only way you can redress imbalance is
yeah,
balance.
right,
And so that is why any food that was not alkaline, I could not advise you to eat it.
Right.
And yes, everybody has a struggle. I had a struggle. It was probably one of the biggest struggles in my life, because in reality, most of us are born that way.
Right.
As children, we eat these contaminated foods as adults, and
Yeah.
then we get through maybe over half of our life and realize that we've just been contaminating our system for the
Right.
last 50 years. It's not going to go just like that, 50 years of contamination, but
Mm.
you've got to start somewhere.
Right.
So,
So.
tin foods, jarred
Hmm.
foods, everything literally in the supermarket
Mm.
should be read, because most of the time we're eating food things that we can't even pronounce on a label.
Right. Oops, sorry. Hmm.
You'll have, they say now you go in the supermarket, a loaf of bread has 20 ingredients, when bread has flour and water,
Right.
in actual fact, to make bread.
Hmm.
So without reading labels, we have no idea
Hmm.
of the amount of chemicals and synthetic materials that we are, pesticides through foods, to even from the packagings that we are putting into our bodies.
Right.
And all these things have an effect on
Right.
our bodies. So any food that contains water,
Mm.
it has a value. That
Hmm.
substance within it has a value, and that can be understood on the pH scale.
Okay.
And the pH scale is from 1 to 14. 7 is neutral. Anything from 1 to 7
Yeah.
is a very low pH. As
Right.
I said, 7 being neutral, I think it's 7.1 up to 14 is a high pH. All of nature's indigenous inherent foods are alkaline.
Right.
And all of the foods that we find in the supermarket, on the supermarket shelves, that have these extremely long shelf lives, some
Right.
foods stay on the shelf, they can up to 100 years.
Right.
They have a very low pH.
Right.
And takeaway foods, ready prepared foods. And
Mm.
unfortunately, for most of us, we no longer have the opportunity, that luxury, to pick a fruit from a tree when it
Right.
has all the enzymes in it. You can literally taste the sun in
Hmm.
those foods. So our bodies become corrupted by what we eat. When our bodies become corrupted by what we eat, unfortunately, so do our minds and our spirits.
Right. Well,
Because
one thing
it's
I've understood is that also certain grapes, like for instance, when I buy red grapes, um, they can last a week without going bad, you know, and coming to understand that some of these grapes are gassed, right, to give it
yes,
a longer shelf life.
yes. I got to research on that too, where they said that certain of the supermarkets, the supermarkets have rooms where they put the foods and they gas them,
Mm.
just as you say, to keep the shelf life,
Right.
because you would hardly go into a supermarket and see food going off,
Mm.
or little fruit flies, which are normal when you have fruits.
Absolutely.
So yeah, you might in these other alternative organic shops,
Mm.
you know. And when you think about it, our grandparents and
Mm.
people like they were stronger, much stronger than us.
Oh yeah.
You know, they suffered less sickness. Everybody had a backyard garden. Everybody grew their own foods without chemicals,
Mm.
and they were closer to the source. They were closer to the earth, and they stayed longer and healthier.
Right.
You know, so it's very important for us to be able to identify what we're eating and to know whether or not it is an inherent food of the earth. Inherent foods of the earth, they don't need anybody to plant them. They can
Mm.
replant themselves.
Right.
You see, you'd have a mango tree, drop a mango.
Mm-hmm.
If it stays there long enough and it gets enough light, once it's decayed, it can regrow,
Mm-hmm.
as many of the other wild foods are.
Right.
But man-made foods have to be planted by man.
Right.
They can't just drop their seed to the earth and regrow.
Right. So we have this chart, which was a chart that you gave me initially to give me an understanding of what alkaline foods was. So here's the chart.
Are we looking at fruits or vegetables?
Alkaline foods, I think this is more vegetables. Well,
Yes.
a mix of both. So,
Yes. When we look at the chart, I mean, when we look at what we eat generally before
mhm,
taking on this alkaline way of eating, the variety looks much wider. But
right.
we're eating a lot more foods, but it's giving us a lot less energy. All of these foods are, another way of naming these foods would be to say they are electric foods.
Okay.
All of these foods are capable of electrolyting your body
Right.
and providing it with all of its requirements,
Yeah.
all for healing, for charging the body, rejuvenating the body, repairing the body. All of these foods are capable of doing this.
What I also recognized was that when I was, eating during, my old way of eating, all the wrong foods and so forth, and I was remembering, coming close to 9, 10, I'd always find myself in the kitchen looking for something to pick at. Now, it wouldn't necessarily be that I was hungry. I was just used to just nitpicking at something. You know what I mean? And the
Mm-hmm.
minute I was introduced to alcohol, and I was 1 month in, my habit of going into the kitchen just died out. Now
Changed.
I can go
Yes.
a day without eating.
Absolutely. Because fasting is a very important part of our way of living.
Mm,
And when I first took up this journey, I, I ate
mm,
every other day for about 3 months,
mm.
and the weight just fell off me. It just fell off. I wasn't doing it for that reason,
Right.
but the weight just fell off me. And then I started intermittent fasting.
Mm,
So for the last, I would say at least 6 years, I have given myself a window um, between anytime after 12
mm.
and before 7. I
Oh,
eat between 1 and 7. I
right.
don't eat outside of those hours for the
Mm,
most part. For the most part,
right.
um, and when you eat like this,
Mm,
I find for me, it made me the level of discipline and self-control I didn't know I had. I had to find
mm,
it.
mm,
You know, I had to find it. And when you do find it,
mm.
it gives you a sense of power,
Right. It
because
does.
you can now control yourself. No, I'm not having this. We are not having this. You know,
Yeah.
no. And you have a control over yourself, a level of control of yourself that maybe you've never seen before. I might go to 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, sometimes 4 o'clock, and I have not
Mm,
broken my fast.
right. Right.
Um, and then I'll just eat within that smaller window, because now my stomach has got so used to,
Yeah.
and I will always break my fast with fruits.
Right.
They must be seeded fruits.
Feed right.
Um, and then one meal, alkaline. And
Mm,
because people are used to having a big plate of food, but you
mm,
have a big plate of food that has no live
mm.
energy in it,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter the amount of food you've eaten.
Yeah.
People think that they have to eat meat in order
Hmm.
to feel strong. I haven't eaten meat for 40 years. And I
Right.
think that we use the word meat
Mm,
because it sounds polite. but in reality, it's flesh. So we have to make a decision. Do I want to be a flesh eater? And especially where we live in a country here where you don't know what those animals are eating and you ingest what they ingest.
Yeah, yeah.
You also ingest the fear
Right.
that they have, you know, the chemicals that they've been introduced to within their systems.
Right.
We also have to partake whatever the animal has, even if the animal has a trauma, that trauma becomes you when we eat flesh.
Yeah.
So when we can even make these decisions consciously is the most important thing, because none of us chose to be meat eaters. We were introduced by our families. And that's why it's important to be able to say to yourself, well, in reality, I want to make a choice. I want to make a choice for me because I have just been, you know, a creature of habit, but I want to become a creature of choice.
Likewise. Likewise.
I'm no longer a creature of habit. I'm now a creature of choice, just like yourself.
Yeah, yeah.
And as you say, you can see what it's done for you, right, my brother? Because
Well,
nobody told you this is. You can see. You know now. You know.
listen, after 2 months of, because I remember the first month, well, the first 2 months was difficult, you know. So in between dabbling in, you know, the alkaline, I was eating spring onions, cucumber, cherry tomatoes, avocado, understanding which was the good and the bad avocado. When I was able to make that distinction, I was eating that on a regular basis. However, in between, I was cheating every now and again, you know. And I remember going to the hospital again and telling you, oh man, the number's gone up again. And he was just no nonsense with me at the time. He said, it's because you're doing something wrong. And when he said that to me, because I remember eating the crisps, you know, but I wasn't going to tell you. So I
Excuse me.
said, you know what? I'm going to beat it. So the minute I was able to knuckle down with it, I went through all, because it messes with your emotions, right? I was getting angry.
Definitely.
Somebody only had to look at me wrong, and
You be
and
that shows you.
Hmm?
I'm so sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying that, you know, you go through the emotions, and the minute you're able to get through that window, that could be like a month, 6 weeks. You know, once you're able to beat the 6 week window, it becomes a breeze. It becomes easier. I was able to recognize that I was now having power over food, not the food having power
Yes.
over me.
Over you.
Yeah.
Exactly. Absolutely. And that's where you feel your power from.
Yes.
I was going to say that it was something in line with what you had said earlier, but maybe it will come. Maybe it will come back to me.
There's a lady called Abena. She said, can you send her the charts? I guess that's the alkaline chart that we showed earlier.
Yes, if she sends me a number, I can
Okay.
definitely send me her name and her number. I will definitely
Right,
pass it on to me, but I'll definitely be able to do that.
right.
Thank you very much for the people are connecting with us. Thank you for listening. Somebody's listening.
Big up
Um,
Sparky Melody and anybody else who's logged into this show.
thank you.
Go ahead.
Yes. I wanted to speak about the reality that the importance of eating foods with hydrating foods, because if we take into consideration that our bodies are organic and our bodies are made up of 70% minimum water. You think about that, 70% water. So in order for those water to be replenished from the body when we're sweating and moving around, and naturally we would need to eat foods that contain water. rather than we look at the manufactured foods, most of them are dry foods, foods you'd have to maybe add water to give them some kind of hydration.
Okay.
But our watermelons, our cucumbers, our mangoes, our berries, all kind of berries apart from cranberries, right?
Yeah.
Apart from cranberries, right, Balaji? I know you know that one. Any food that contains water
Yeah.
is very, very good for us. And that is why, when we think about it, if we go far enough back in time, the food in the trees had to be the only trees, the only food.
Right.
The coconut water, fruits,
Yeah.
the very, very, very first foods. It's very important to go back, I think, sometimes to understand what is happening now. So there must have been there was a time when we actually lived on those foods.
Absolutely.
Because there was nothing else. Look at the coconut. Look where it's put. And at the top of the tree, and anyone that's been to the Caribbean will vouch that when you take a fruit from the tree, you can actually feel the sunshine, the sun's rays in that piece of fruit. And that piece of fruit has grown from the nutritions in the soil and then watered by the rain. Packaged food cannot compete with nature's foods.
Yeah.
It's made by man.
Yeah.
Nature's food is made by nature, and nature has been making that food, creating that food for millions and millions of years. And it's got all the right nutrition, the right minerals in it. When you go and buy cereals, they tell you with fortified vitamins. Nature doesn't have to fortify vitamins. Everything is needed is in it. That's why they call these foods whole foods. Because they're complete. They're not half, they're not quarter, they're not 10%. They are whole foods. But most people...
We're seeing less and less fruits, especially without seeds now, which is losing its nutritional value, right?
Well, once it doesn't have seed, it's genetically modified because nothing grows without seed. We ourselves come from seed. So how can we grow? And people actually say, I want the food without seed because I don't want to spit them out. We have become so inclined to what is apparently convenient for us. But our convenience becomes our inconvenience.
Absolutely.
Because we just want things easy. Well, we just want things, and life doesn't go like that. What we put in is what we get out. As my mother would say, you can't plant peas and get corn. I'm sure your grandmother and mother say something very similar. So it's what we put in, we can get out. We can't drive this body on fish and chips.
Right.
It's not nutrition. It's not enough power in that to drive this body.
It's not. No.
No. And even some of our cultural foods that we love so much. But starch is the biggest threat to us. And one of the biggest threats. And yet we eat a lot of starchy food. And not just one.
Tell me a bit more about starch, about the dangers of starch itself.
Well, the starch just clog because it's not a natural thing. Starch is not a product of nature, it's a product of man. So it clogs us after a while. If you ever see anyone making cassava, I've seen them make cassava in the Caribbean, and when they put it in the water, it just turns white and murky. That is starch. The body doesn't require that.
Right.
So, but we eat a lot of very starchy foods, and starch turns to sugar.
Right.
And I think sugar is public enemy number one.
Yeah.
Because tourists, the one thing that we were brought to the Caribbean to plant is sugar. And the two products of that plant, sugarcane, and the two products of sugarcane, which is sugar and rum, is what's killing a nation.
Oh, yes.
Because sugar is as addictive as cocaine.
Imagine.
Sugar is a man-made substance that is more addictive than cocaine. The only natural sugar that we have is within fruits and dates. But that what we call white sugar, demerara sugar, all these other crystallized sugars is from the cane that goes through a crystallization process. In the same way, there's many drugs are made with the same crystallization process. And this is what we start giving our children from a very, very early age. And it is in everything. Almost everything that is manufactured. There are many different forms of sugar. So people might say, well, I give up sugar. I don't have that in my tea. But you have it in your biscuit. You have it in your bread. You have it in your cake.
Yeah.
You have it in your starchy foods. You have it in your bread. It's hidden in a lot of foods, and especially manufactured foods.
Dangerous levels as well.
Yes, and because if most of us were asked, describe an addict to me, most people wouldn't put up their hand and say, I am. Because most of us are addicted to one form of food or another. Just like you were saying about the crisp. There's certain things in the packaging. It's the levels of salt.
Yeah. Additives.
Yes. And there are hundreds of those too.
Yeah.
And may I say, before I forget, in the conversation you said previously, when you are making a change, any change, some changes are extremely difficult. Some
You're gone again. Your sound's gone again. Let's see what's going on. Bear with us. Hopefully we'll be able to resolve it. Yep, she's back.
Hi.
Can you hear me? Good.
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Awesome.
Yes. Bless you. Thank you. I was just wanted to bring a point to when you were talking about making changes. And changes are not always easy.
Yeah.
I think the most important thing that first we have to change is our mind.
Right.
We first have to change what we see as food and start to look at things differently and say, hold on, this actually doesn't have nutrition. So this is food and not fuel. This has nutritional value, therefore it is fuel for my body. And once we've changed our minds, then we have to start becoming our own researchers, understanding certain things, looking for our own knowledge and understanding.
Absolutely.
And then we have to apply it bit by bit. And I think it's a very good practice to give up something, replace it with something. So you're not left feeling like, oh, I can't have this, I can't have that, I can't have anything. I might as well fast. I'm gonna starve.
I know what that means. Lord.
But we know fasting is good too. If we have to starve, then it's good. We call it fasting, not starving. The body needs that.
Was looking for sympathy though, right?
I know you was looking sympathy, but I know if I give it to you, they wasn't going to help you.
Oh,
I give you empathy, but the sympathy wouldn't help. Empathy and support.
I can never forget those days, man.
It's become her story, his story, our story, because that's what's brought us here. But I want to say where you are concerned that I am really, really proud of your effort, because someone can tell you something I mean, I have this conversation with a lot of people,
Mm.
but it's being able to put it into practice.
Mm.
And you took the information and you applied it as hard as it was, and
Right.
you were persistent with it, and you planted corn and you reaped corn.
Right.
I see myself as, one of my brothers described it very well for me the other week. He told me, you're a spiritual carer. And
Mm.
I love that term. I say
Right.
a mentor. And basically, anybody who wants to go on that journey, who needs just some moral support
Mm.
in starting it, um, in someone just there to, how you doing, give you a call, how you doing, support you on the journey, or you just, like you said, can I eat this, is it okay, what menus do I need?
Right.
I sometimes go shopping with people and show them what to buy,
Mm-hmm.
make menus for them to show them this is what an alkaline meal actually tastes like. And
Right.
most people are like, oh, it tastes nice. I thought, I don't know what you expected to say.
So there's something on the screen which you
Thank
you
you, Balaji. That looks very appetizing. It looks like some quinoa with avocados.
Mm-hmm.
That I only buy my avocados from the Caribbean. Like you say, we stay away from the small house. They're
Mm-hmm.
genetically modified. With
Mm-hmm.
salad. And my rule is, if I have salad
Yeah.
takes 50% of my plate, or 100% of my plate. It's not a
Right.
garnish. It's not a side dish.
Mm.
It has to take 50% of the plate. And
Right.
I think that's the mushrooms, oyster mushrooms,
Yeah.
which are my go-to. Very, very good. If people are trying to walk away from eating meat and
Mm.
they're like, what can oyster mushrooms are very, very good replacement food. There's lots of
Absolutely.
different ways that you can cook them, and you will be surprised. Ask yourself, what am I actually eating there?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, and you've got lots of varieties. And
Mm.
mushrooms boost your immune system by 50%.
Right.
And like I say, very good replacement. I think it's had some chickpeas in there as well.
Yes, and
Um,
chickpeas.
yes,
And I think it's important to mention that the mushrooms that you stay away from are shiitakes, right?
yes. The
Hmm.
shiitake are the only ones to stay with. You see, you don't
Right.
need me again, man. You just don't need me again, right?
You turned me into a pro.
I like that. That's what the circle goes round. Student
Yeah.
becomes teacher. Each one teach one. I
Yeah.
love that. I love that. Tell me
And
more.
funny enough,
Bless you.
I've got my mom hooked on oyster mushrooms now.
Really?
Reminds
Do you
me,
see
yeah,
what I mean? Each
yeah,
one teach one. And
right,
it's the same too with our oils. That when
hmm,
we cook, because sometimes I like to saute the mushrooms, but
right,
we don't use vegetable oils. We don't use these highly manufactured
hmm,
oils,
right.
you know. Sesame oil is a good oil, hemp oil is a good oil to use.
Avocado.
Um, Avocado is a wonderful oil to use. But where we see these big vegetable, I have been cooking vegetables all my life. I've never seen oil come from the
Mhm.
vegetables.
Right, right.
So I would love to know, you know. Hemp
Mm,
seed oil is another good oil.
okay.
Um, Yes, but these industrialized oils we stay
Mm,
away from. And when we do use them, we use them very sparingly. We don't deep fry anything, send
mm,
anything swimming in oil,
okay.
you know?
Now,
Yes,
what about,
absolutely.
tell me about broccoli, because I keep on hearing over the internet and everywhere I look that broccoli is a superfood in fighting cancer. And I can vaguely remember you telling me otherwise.
Well, that's not my understanding at all. That's not
Hmm.
my understanding. And I don't lean just on my research and understanding. My initial mentor, um, because I can't complete this without calling his name, is Dr. Sabi.
Hmm.
And I I basically started my journey
Hmm.
on my own.
Hmm.
And then later on, came across Dr. Sebi, and I then started to reduce all the fruits and vegetables that were not on his list. And I know broccoli is a hybrid. I believe broccoli is a mixture of a few different plants. It's not.
Yeah,
It's
like
not. It's certainly not
sort of
alkaline.
cabbage
And
and all that in it.
no, cabbage is not either. And this is why we had many of these conversations when you would be asking me, and sometimes, as you were saying, even researching that information and coming back saying, yes, it was. And
Hmm.
saying that, when we're researching, we can't look at just one source. We have to
Yeah,
look at this source, then this one, and then listen to what other herbalists say and compare information, because sometimes you were really asking the right questions, but you can't take the first answer. You
right.
have to dig deep, to really get a balanced answer. But it's not. There's certain things that you'd look at and you see, well, where's the seed in
Right.
them?
Mm.
There's certain foods you just cut and you see a seed. There's certain foods you cut and you think there's no seed, like beetroot, for example.
Hmm.
You know. So what is important is that you see seeds, and even some of the foods that you see with seeds,
Mm.
you still have to investigate.
Okay.
Yes, you literally can't just believe your eyes anymore.
Right.
You have to know. We can't believe anymore. We
Right.
have to know, because we can't. We get one
Mm.
good body. We can't go and trade it in later on. This
Right.
part is not so good, that part, works with vehicles, not with us.
Hmm.
So I believe that our body should be the biggest investment
Mm.
we ever make in life, should be in
Right.
this. We
Hmm.
should not look at any food or anything that is good for the nurturing and nourishing of ourselves and say, oh, I can't afford that. Not
Right.
when we put nice rims on our cars and expensive carpet on our floors.
Mm-mm.
This is our home. This is our first home.
Yeah.
And this home needs repair as well.
Mm.
This home definitely needs repair, and it needs to be valued. We need
Mm-hmm.
to put a value on ourselves. And I believe when we genuinely love ourselves,
Mm.
we want to give ourselves the best, just as we want the best for other people.
Right.
We can't want the best for other people and not want good for ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So this should be our biggest investment, and it is mine.
Yes.
It is definitely mine.
Well, fun enough,
Nothing is.
I went to the market to buy some soursop because soursop and soursop leaf is extra powerful, right? So
Yes,
the price of soursop and soursop, well, not so much soursop leaf, but soursop in itself, the fruit, the prices can be absolutely crazy out there. For a medium size
absolutely.
one, it's going as much as £25, you know. And I speak
Hmm.
to people in Jamaica all the time, they can just pluck it from a tree.
Exactly, exactly. And that's when we realize that we're not necessarily, because we're not in our inherent place, are we? We're not.
Well, yeah.
We were, at least our parents were born into the luxury
Mm.
of having that. And
Yeah.
now we are having to, sometimes we have to look at it and say we can't even afford it, but it was our birthright. But
Hmm.
sometimes it's how we do things,
Yeah.
because I think that if we have to eat 3 meals a day
Hmm.
and foods in between, we
Yeah.
can afford a salsa,
Mm.
because people actually believe that it's very expensive to eat well. It's
Mm.
not necessarily very expensive to eat well, because you eat 1 meal a day.
That's true.
By the time people have made a calculation of what they've spent on breakfast, plus lunch, plus dinner and snacks in between, you could have afforded a salsa.
It's
And you are
true.
worth it, Hausa.
It's true.
You are
And
definitely worth it.
my
You
shopping,
know,
well, the price, I mean, now that I go shopping for alkaline foods, I don't spend more than no more than 30 to 40 pounds, right? So
Mhm.
before, in my old way of shopping, right, I could spend over £100 and still know what I bought.
Yes,
And that's
yes, because
the price of food. I mean, what I spend now is even cheaper for me, you know?
the difference is now you don't buy what you want,
Yeah,
you buy what you need.
what I
Because
need.
that's why the supermarket was set up like that in the first place, that you would walk in the supermarket and be seduced by everything because there's so much choices. You just fill up your trolley and just keep walking. But
Right,
now you're making conscious choices,
right.
and you're actually buying fuel and not food. You don't need this big trolley of
Yeah,
food.
yeah,
And when you look at your fridge and your cupboard, you know that everything, to me, it gives me a sense of satisfaction, knowing
right,
everything that I'm looking at in my fridge and my cupboard is of use to my body. My
right.
body's going to thank me for eating it.
Hmm.
There's nothing I have to feel guilty about,
Right,
you know, that I'm going to be there's nourished by everything I put in my mouth. So if it's not going to nourish you,
right,
why are you eating it?
right.
To me, it helps you form a completely different relationship with the value of yourself,
Yeah,
which can only be a good thing,
yeah.
you know, can only be a good thing.
What one of the best things I can say for sure, because I do know that there's many people out there who every now and again they hit me up. Somebody about a month ago called me and told me he's got lung cancer, you know,
Mhm.
um, and I'm trying to tell him that, listen, if he, I'm a beneficiary of alkaline, the power of alkaline foods, right? So
Mhm.
if my cancer is coming down, like I say, there's something called the Gleason's report. It tells you whether you're stage one, two, three, or four, right?
Right.
Now, if my numbers is coming down from 6 to 3, it tells me that it is working. Because at the
Something's
time when I was
happening.
eating it, before I got the actual report to tell me how far it had gone, my heart was kind of in my mouth. I'm thinking to myself, is this working? Because you know as well as I do,
Yeah.
you know, every time I went to the hospital, I always came back disappointed, you know, and it took a while
Yes.
for me to get high again, you know. So when I was seeing the actual results, even my, you know, the oncology surgeon, he was like shocked. What are you doing to get this down
Mhm.
so drastic? And I told him alkaline. Like I said, he didn't even know what I was talking about. And he said, well, if it's working for you, keep on doing it.
Exactly.
So
Because the reality
would
is,
say to anybody out there, you know, who is actually seeing this, that I
mhm,
am proof, right?
you're a living proof.
If you can stick with alkaline way of life, trust me, you will see results.
Yes.
I'm a beneficiary of that. You know, I just
And
wanted to get
why that happens is because the reality is we are either nourishing, if you're not nourishing yourself, you are malnourished.
mm,
And you can be eating every day and be malnourished.
imagine.
You can be grossly overweight and be malnourished. You can be exceptionally thin and be malnourished.
Right, right,
Malnourished means no nourishment,
right.
no nourishment. So you are either nourishing yourself
Yeah.
or not nourishing yourself, which is
Hmm.
malnourishment. So what you're doing now, even within your experience, what you're talking about,
Yeah.
there is you're nourished. You have been nourishing your body
Right.
consciously for the past year,
Yeah.
consciously just putting nourishing foods into it and not eating anything that doesn't nourish you. And this is your result.
Right. Right. Right.
Illness, disease, and sickness is a state of malnourishment.
Hmm.
Because
Yeah.
when your body is malnourished enough, it has no option but to break down.
Right.
Because what holds it up then?
Hmm.
What holds it up? So when we look at malnourishment, we look at it like it's people way over there in some country where things are hard. But there is not a country on earth where people are not malnourished. Because the majority of people on the earth do not nourish their body. They do not fuel their body. They just eat food. And this same food is causing imbalance and sickness and disease in the body.
Now, the other part of this is like now, and because I know you were talking about Sainsbury, all these big superstores, right? Now, my thing is that I no longer feel that I can trust buying my fruit and veg in Sainsbury's anymore, you know? So I'm always having to go to the corner store, you know, or go to Brixton or Shepherd's Bush to get my fruit and veg now, because of the hope that is not pumped with a vaccine or something like that, because you know it's already in play, right? So I'm just super cautious.
But I feel once you've actually made that conscious change and you are eating alkaline in foods, the supermarkets are no longer the places for you to buy. You have to go either in the organic places, or you get where you know the foods are coming straight from the Caribbean, you know, from the markets or from the wholesalers. You won't go there. To me, the supermarkets are not places I shop in, because there's nothing there that I can buy.
And that's the thing now. That's exactly the way I see it now.
There's nothing there that I can buy. So my shopping, because before I would just go in one particular supermarket and buy everything. Now I have to go to this particular area to buy my little green bananas. I have to go over there to buy callaloo. I have to go over there to buy something else. But I believe I'm worth the effort. Right. So I do it. You know, I might have to add an extra day to my shopping because I don't have a vehicle. But whatever time it takes and energy it takes to do it, for me, I do it because I now deem myself worthy. My body needs these things, you know. Just like you take your car, as you said, to the nearest gas station. Well, I have to take myself to the nearest fueling station for my body, and wherever that fueling station has to be. And I think the other thing you'll notice is if you can find a place outside to eat, you'll be very good.
Right.
Because most of the food that is outside, that is cooked in restaurants, it won't be somewhere you'll want to eat anymore. Right. Because you'll want to be vigilant about doing things yourself. And I think that's the other thing that it gave me. It gave me a different relationship with my kitchen. Not that I wasn't always a homebody, but it made it even more so because, say for instance, I want to make a cake. I won't buy it in the shop.
Right.
I will make it at home.
Right.
So if I want, say, whatever it is I want to make. If I want falafels, I won't go in the supermarket and make them. I'll soak my chickpeas and make it myself. Right. So I spend a lot more time in my kitchen, but I know exactly where my food's coming from. I know the energy that is going into my food, because not forgetting, everything is frequency, everything is energy. When you cook and you're angry, that vibration goes into the food. When you cook and you're happy, that vibration goes in the food. You don't know what the person who cooked the food, what energy they have transmitted in the food simply by cooking it and connecting with it. Everything is connection. So for me, I'm far happier to make my own things. Right. Far happier to do that. And the other thing I would say is, because I no longer take sugar, I no longer have sugary drinks, sweet drinks of any kind, no soft drinks, no carbonated drinks. I literally get to the point that I drink two things. One is water and the other is herb tea.
Right. Yeah.
I don't drink anything else.
Mm.
I can't even tell you I make a smoothie. If I'm going to eat my fruit, I prefer just to cut it and eat it than to blend it or take 2 or 3 fruits and blend it. Because apparently when you do that too, you increase the level of sugar in it.
Right.
Even if there are 3 or 4 alkaline in fruits and you blend them all together, you've increased the sugar by blending them instead of
Right.
eating them one by one.
I'm with you.
So I will very rarely blend fruits. I just eat it. Just
Yeah.
eat it as it is. And sometimes, if you can, eat some of the seeds once they're edible.
I remember you telling me that.
Yeah,
Oh.
all helps.
Here's another chart
Which is
with the apple and the code on it.
yes. You find a lot of these codes on the foods in the supermarket. And these codes, just like we were talking about the labels, they help us to understand how these foods have been made. Let's say if you see a 5-digit code that begins with a 9,
Right.
apparently it's organically grown.
Okay.
And if you see a 5-digit code that begins with an 8, it is a genetically modified food.
Okay.
Although it won't say on it genetically modified, but it will have that code. And if it's a 4-digit, it's grown conventional in a conventional manner, but it has pesticides and fertilizers and chemicals in it.
Right.
So
Now,
this is what I'm saying. It's important to read your labels and
right.
to know what those labels mean.
Now, for years ago, when I'm going back to school days, I was able to eat fruits, veg, everything, right? Now, when I got to my 30s, 40s, and 50s, right, for some reason, anytime I ate an apple, I felt nauseous. If I ate a banana, I felt nauseous. If I ate peanuts, it was giving me a massive itch. So I couldn't eat a whole load of fruits. I gave up on fruits for a very long time, and I couldn't understand it. But one of the labels had a 4 on it, always had a 4, and I never knew what those numbers, meant. Then it dawned on me, maybe it's the pesticides they use on the fruits itself, making me allergic to it. Because the flip side of this, anytime I went to Jamaica and I had an apple or I had a banana, I didn't have that problem.
Different taste.
I never had that problem. So I just stopped eating fruits and veg. I mean, not veg, but fruits for a very long time. And it wasn't until recently when I met you, and then I started going to the markets, I was able to eat red grapes. I couldn't eat that before without me scratching my face and whatever.
And
So
it's so funny because all the foods you mentioned, they're all acidic. Because I'm assuming the bananas you were eating were the long Cavendish bananas.
yeah.
And these bananas are modified. The natural bananas are those little lady fingers. I think they call them lady fingers, those little bananas, the little thick ones. These are the original and real organic. The Cavendish are made from those. Those little ones have seeds. Peanuts are also an acidic food. And then you mentioned apples.
Yeah.
You have an apple in Jamaica that is red outside and white flesh inside. I'm not sure of the name of that, but I know it's seen as an apple. But
Is,
what
is,
we
that, is that
call
the custard apple? Is that what you call custard apple or something?
no, it's not custard apple because it's got a red flesh.
Okay.
It's got a red outer skin, but I don't know. But the ones even like in the that you put up on the screen, the red apples, green apples. I don't eat apples.
Right.
I don't eat those kinds of apples. No, I
Right.
don't eat them at all.
Okay.
But and like you're saying, not peanuts, walnuts would be a good replacement for peanuts.
Right.
Brazil nuts would be, but a lot of the nuts are highly acidic. Yeah, they are highly acidic too.
Cashew nuts, no?
Cashew nuts are
I
acidic.
acidic, okay. Okay.
That
Okay.
used to be, and that used to be something I used to indulge a lot. I, like we were saying, change. It takes a while to make changes.
Yeah.
You got there, yes. Some examples of alkaline and acidic foods.
Yeah.
On the acidic side, you've got cheese. Cheese is actually a highly addictive food.
Very.
There are a lot of highly addictive foods, and they are labeled as such because of the ingredients that they have in them. But cheese is one on the top of the list. Not just is it highly addictive, it also has very high levels of estrogen in it,
Okay.
which is the female hormone.
Mm,
Because obviously all milk is made from the cow, which is a
right.
female animal. So
Right.
all the hormones of the cow end up going into us that consume cheese, milk, butters. Yes.
Right.
So,
Makes a lot
yes.
of sense. Makes a lot of sense.
I've seen a lot of children, because I work with children, you see that, they're starting puberty and they've actually got breasts.
Oh Jesus, yes, I've seen it.
And a lot of children are very much addicted to cheese and milk.
Yes,
Very much so.
yes, yes.
Very
I had
much
to give
so.
it up. I mean, but in my family, we've always loved eating cheese. Even more so, I used to like eating the mature cheese. It had to be really, really
Strong.
strong for me to eat it. And when I, had to give it up, it was a problem for me. However, I was able to conquer that addiction to cheese and milk. Stop drinking milk altogether. And I only make the coconut milk, which is from the raw coconut.
Or I will use almonds to make milk. You can use Brazil nuts to make milk. All of
Now,
these things can make
it
milk
isn't
too.
almonds, because I could have sworn there was something wrong with almonds itself.
Not almonds, sorry,
Oh, okay.
walnuts and Brazil nuts. Did I say
Right.
almonds? I didn't mean to say almonds.
Right.
Slip of the tongue.
Okay. Good.
Walnuts.
Walnuts. Okay.
Big
So you can make
disclaimer there
milk
for the
from
almonds.
walnuts
No,
instead.
almonds are also very acidic. Don't
Mm,
use those at all.
right.
Yes. Yeah, not
Okay.
at all.
Right.
But it takes time. Like you say, you gave it 6 weeks. For some people, it takes longer. Some
Yeah.
people, they just can't maintain it
Yeah. Yeah.
because you, like I say, it's a level of addiction. It's a habit that we've had for years, and it's not easy to break habits. It takes a
Absolutely.
fair amount of fighting with yourself,
Mm,
and
mm,
dedication to yourself. And I think that we have to give ourselves that time to change.
yeah.
We have to be compassionate with ourselves,
Mm,
because these are not just physical changes, they're mental changes,
yeah.
they're
Yeah.
emotional changes. And it's nothing that affects the mind and body that doesn't affect the spirit, because you find that the the more natural foods you eat,
Mm,
the more it affects your whole well-being. Not
absolute.
just that physical illness, but your mind. You
Yep.
feel happier, you feel more energized, you
Yeah.
feel more positive,
Mm-hmm.
just
Mm-hmm.
through eating, aligning yourself back with your natural source of food.
Mm-hmm.
This is not an accident.
Yeah. Yeah. The
It's
good
a
thing is,
realignment to what was and
well,
what's always been.
well, that's true. That's true. Absolutely. The good
Mhm.
thing is within 2 months of fully dedicating myself to the alkaline diet, I was able to, because I used to be 99 kilos, because I remember you mentioning, people being massively overweight. And when I lost the
Mhm.
weight, I got to realize how big I really was. You know, sometimes, you know, you want to take a group photo and you try tucking your belly, right? And your belly's still out.
You make me laugh.
Listen,
You have got nothing to tuck in now, though, right? You haven't got nothing to tuck in.
it takes me a while to even push out my belly now.
You
But
feel what I mean?
yeah,
You
oh
look
my
so
God.
streamlined now. And like you said, you didn't need it. At the time, we get used to it. But you didn't actually need it, did you? You
Yeah,
didn't need
I
it.
did. I
But
didn't.
it took you for you to lose it, for you to realize you never needed it. You didn't need
Absolutely.
it.
Mm.
I'm so proud of you. So proud of
Oh,
you.
thank
This
you.
journey, you've really taken it and gone with it, because it's also, you know, I know Dr. Sabi spoke about anti-aging. And, you
Anti-aging.
know, when I first heard him talk about anti-aging, I was thinking, what's he
Mm.
talking about? How can people anti-age?
Right.
But what happens is
Mm.
when your body is rightly electrified, it
Hmm.
it it can slow down that aging process.
Right.
You know, we are actually aging before time because our body's lacking certain things, like I believe it's lack of copper that makes your hair go very white very quickly.
Okay.
There's
Right.
lack of certain minerals in the body.
Mm.
But if you are giving our bodies were built, our bodies were built for longer than 50 years,
Mm.
60 years, I'm quite sure. You know, you've only got to look at some of the elder people in the Caribbean to see how tough they're looking at even 90, and, you
Yeah.
know, strong, and, you know,
Mm.
using the eyes they were born with, even without glasses, at 100. And
Yes.
but
I
I
see
know
them.
these people as children were never subjected
Mm.
to the foods that we were subjected to.
Hmm.
They weren't around. In
Absolutely.
reality, supermarkets have only been open 75, 78 years or so.
Mm.
Yeah. So, yeah.
So, I mean, it's been a real education for me, you know, this whole movement, the journey. Here's a chart which gives you an idea of all the things I've had to give up. I had to give up the weights, the donuts in the morning, donuts with a cup of tea. I remember one morning you had called me and I was there making breakfast, all happy like Larry, getting my groove on in the kitchen. And then in comes a call from Heels Natural.
Is
And you
that when
heard,
he was scoop, 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 scoop?
yep, I was whisking away the eggs. What's that you're making, Balaji?
I say, Balaji, that sounds like a fork hitting a plate. Like, what are you having for breakfast, Balaji? So just making some eggs.
Oh,
I thought
Jesus.
you'd given up chicken. I thought you'd given up the eggs. I could see your face through the phone. Like, I think we
Oh,
had the biggest kind of love hate relationship ever, you know? Like, I really love this lady, but I hate her at the same time. Everything I like, she's telling me is acid, acid, acid. I'm fed up of hearing this. I could
but
feel you through the phone sometimes, but I just know I have to be
yeah,
honest with you.
yeah.
Your choice, but I had to be honest with you. And now
Mm.
look,
I
yeah,
think a lot of people need that kind of energy to help them off it because if you didn't give me that energy, trust me, I wouldn't have made it this far, you know.
bless you
So
and
I have to
thank
give
you.
thanks and praises on to you, you know, for sticking with me through the way because it wasn't easy,
Oh,
you
I
know.
did say to you, I did say, and we said from the beginning, I said, I will not leave you down in this journey. I
Yeah,
will not leave
yeah,
you down.
you
I
did.
will stick with you on this journey. And,
Absolutely.
you know, I knew it was going to be not just physical, but emotional and spiritual. And,
Yeah.
but I think everybody would, you
Mm,
know, benefit from having, you know, that kind of support network going through something,
yeah.
you know, like that. And it's the positivity more than anything else. I believe that is
Yeah.
part of the healing process.
Hmm.
So, you know, you get good food, you get good herbs to nourish the body and supplement the body, and then support and encouragement, empathy and love.
That's right.
What more? What more do we need for the journey of healing?
I have to give real thanks to you for this journey. Like I say, there's been quite a few people hitting me up telling me they, for some reason there's high levels of people getting cancer,
Mm-hmm.
now. So trying
Yes.
to show them that this can be, you can fight this if only you stick with it.
If you're
But one of the
prepared to
things
make the
that
changes.
everybody is going through, like I went through it, because I know the stages to this thing now, is trying to be focused on trying to achieve your aim of getting those numbers down. You know what I mean? And you have to
Yes.
stick with it. And I know it's not easy for a lot of people, because many people want to eat their meat. Somebody told me that, boy, I can't give up the oxtail and the cow foot and this and that and rare. And I'm like, well, the choice is yours. You have to choose whether you want to die
Absolutely.
slowly or you want to heal.
And you have to choose whether you want to eat living foods or
Hmm.
dead foods. And
Absolutely.
reality is you'll get life from living foods, but you can't get life from foods that have already passed away.
Yeah.
You can't.
Mm.
Any energy is gone. That's why they're dead.
Mm.
But with nature's foods, the energy is we actually eating the energy of the food within the food.
Right.
I mean, nature's a genius, you
Mm.
know. They actually captivate all those minerals and vitamins and necessary for our bodies in the food. And all we have to do is eat the food. That
Mm.
is all we have to do.
Yes. Yes.
That is all
Absolutely.
we have to do.
I'm keeping this flyer up so that people can have a little idea of what you have to give up.
Yes,
Um,
yes.
One of the things that I had to start eating, because my doctor told me that I was lacking B12.
Mm,
So I had to try and get my B12 up. So it was suggested that I started to eat red salmon. So the red salmon that I went for was the wild one, which didn't have any of the antibiotics pumped into it. It cost you a pretty penny, but it's worth it. You know. And then
I
corn, is advised not to eat corn as well, right? Because I know there was a misconception.
no,
People
no.
were confused as to whether you could eat it or not.
Corn, not no corn, and not even with the salmon, because you can't eat fish without ingesting parasites.
Mm,
Anything that is living like that, flesh, whether it's meat or fish, but fish definitely. And also, the fish will have mercury, it will have lead from the
mm,
sea.
mm,
So, you know, my my advice and my experience has been to stay away from all
mm,
forms of flesh.
mm,
And the doctor will advise people to go
mm,
and eat fish, go and eat liver, go and eat steak, because again, they're
mm,
not nutritionalists. But if but your body is in a state of imbalance and you're trying to clear out
mm,
what the body doesn't need, the
mm,
last thing you want to put in the body is any um, meat or flesh whatsoever,
mm,
because it will putrefy in the body, it will rot in the body, and it takes a very long time to
mm.
come out of the system.
Right.
Yeah, and make your body have to work extra hard.
Mm,
You know? So I hear what he says, but I don't recommend it to anyone. Yeah,
right.
but as
Yeah.
I say, I am self-taught, but I can only go by my experience and
Mm,
by the results that I have seen
yeah.
yes. The results I have seen people go through, yes, I can only look at that as my evidence
Right.
for the route that I would take, or the route that I advise people. But at the end of the day, when faced with an illness, an imbalance, or sickness, it's always the person that is in that position
Right.
that has to make the final choice about their body.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
Yeah. And it has to be respected. It's their body. It's not my body. So whatever they decide to go with,
Yeah.
yeah, then yes.
So is there anything else we need to touch upon before we close the show down today?
I think we've touched on a lot, but I would also like to say that apart from Dr. Sebi, I would like to say that my interest in wellness and this journey was also, it's just as you say, you can't speak about your journey and not include me. For me too, I have a sister. She's originally from Philadelphia, I believe. Her name is Gwendolyn Carter. And also, she was the first person that put that seed in my mind that
Right.
food could be used to heal, because I was witness when there was a friend of mine who had she had cancer in the cervix, and she had stage 4, and the doctors basically gave up on her and said, there's nothing we can do for you. But
Wow.
this particular sister, who is also into herbalism, she said, she gave her hope, because she said, yes, there is something you can do, but the first thing you have to do is change your diet. And when she listed all these things that she would have to change, I myself was looking at her thinking, I'm eating a lot of those things. A lot of those things were still on my list at the time. And I used to look at this sister in awe, like, wow, wonder actually want to be where she stands, with her knowledge and her self-discipline. And I can say today that I am actually in that place, but she planted that seed. So I said, for me too, I cannot tell a story without calling her name. And up until now, she's a very, very dear friend of mine.
Amen.
And just to say that, you don't have to go to college. You don't have to go to university to know. All we have to do, we spend so much time, so many things happening in the world and around the world. It's very important for us to know what goes on in this personal
Yeah.
universe, so to speak. So we just take a little time out to learn a little bit more about this beautiful, magnificent vessel that we have been given, that we call a body, that
Right.
we are partially abusing, not consciously, but we are abusing, have been taught to abuse. We now have to teach how to honor it, how to
Yeah.
love it, how
Yeah.
to nurture it.
Yeah.
And in doing that can be an example to help others do the same. And for
Yeah.
us to return to the natural way that we
Yeah.
were inherently designed to be and live. Yeah. So those would be my closing words. And to say, I was so nervous when I started. I'm much more relaxed now, because it's like me and you were just speaking. But this
You
is my
know,
first podcast. I was so
amen.
nervous. Now
And
I'm pretty
bro,
calm, and
you should do these more often, because I
it's been
know,
a great experience.
yeah, because funny enough, I know a lot of people are struggling, especially with food, and I found it
Yeah.
very important for us to even touch upon, a lot of what we are talking about. The other thing that I want to mention just before we close is that I learned a lot from you, because, back in the days, I used to like making my dumplings, whether boiled dumplings or fried dumplings, right?
Hmm.
Now, when I gave up using the self-raising flour that you normally buy from the stores, right? You introduced me to spelt flour, right? And
Hmm.
I know they have the whole grain or wholemeal flour, and they have the white flour. And
Hmm.
I remember trying to figure out. You said you can make what you call it, fried dumplings, right, with spelt flour, because I never knew you could do that. Because anytime I
Hmm.
tried making it, it came out solid, so it was uneatable, you know. And you said to me, when you make your chickpeas, don't throw the water away. When you soak it overnight, use that same chickpea water, and it
Yeah,
will make
it's
it
a,
fluff.
it's a raising agent. You can use it as a raising agent instead of using yeast or baking powder.
I normally use
Definitely.
baking powder. Yeah,
And you can use the rye. I'll use rye, spelt or kumet. You can use teff. You can
right,
use chickpea flour. Any
right.
of those 5 flours I will use
They have
as a
chickpea flour.
replacement. Sorry, what did you say?
They have chickpea flour.
Yes, I use
Okay.
chickpea flour and mix it with my either the spelt or the kumet,
Mm,
or yes, you can. They call it what do they call it? Gram. Is it gram flour?
gram flour. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's called gram
Oh,
flour. It's chickpea flour, and it's very good for making like flat breads, or it can be used too as an egg replacement.
okay.
Um, yeah, you just would blend it as you would an egg and put your onions and seasonings and stuff, and then you make it very fine like a pancake, and it's a very good egg replacement.
Mm,
Yeah. So you've just
interesting.
got to get inventive,
Mm,
you know, got to get inventive, and gives us a good reason to share food with each other, right?
absolutely, absolutely. You know, because, you know, after I learned all this stuff from you, I actually went to my mom's house, raided her kitchen, threw everything that she wasn't supposed to eat, and filled her up with, you know,
Wow.
nutrition. You know, like now in the mornings, her regular meal is alkaline, you know, veg, you know, like spring onions,
Mhm.
you know, cherry tomatoes and stuff like that. And, you know, she said, why from me to do this to me, you know, me can't stop me. I
Oh.
mean,
Each one teach one. You see, you're
yeah,
teaching your mom, and that
yeah,
is wonderful. And that's what we have to do. Just be, the example.
yeah,
Because I am that way with in my family. My grandsons call me the vegan nanny. The other
right.
one says, no, she's a herbivore. So at least, and I say to them when I go and visit them, I say to them, I'm not bringing you sweets. And they will
Right.
say, why? I said, because I love you.
Yeah.
So when I go, I have to make sure that one thing I have is blueberries for my
Right.
boys because they love blueberries,
Mm,
and I'll bring fruits for them, or, and I'll introduce my daughter to alkaline food, and she loves it. She
mm,
absolutely loves it. She says, Mum, this is soul food,
right.
So
Yeah.
once we use the rightful seasonings, and we also have particular alkaline seasonings. You'll find all these seasonings on Dr. Sabi's food guidance list.
Right.
And yes, I would encourage people to listen to his videos, get an understanding of what he's trying to say.
Yeah.
And yes, just slowly choose a date
Yeah.
and say to yourself, what is it you want to change? Nobody is expecting anybody to change everything altogether unless you're a diehard. Some do.
Right.
But you can say, this month I'm cutting out this
Mm,
and I'm replacing it with that. Next
right.
month I'm cutting out this, I'm replacing it with that.
Right.
And I don't want anybody to take my word for anything. You know, we've got so much information out there, even though it has to be referenced and cross referenced.
Mm,
But please know for yourself,
yeah.
know for yourself, and don't be afraid to experiment with yourself. We've
Mm,
been eating these things aren't good for us for how long?
mm,
You know, we can try something different,
mm,
try something different and see if you keep doing the same thing, we're going to get the same result. If we want a different result, we have to try something different.
yeah.
And I think most people, when they come to our ages, they have some kind of health problem or another.
Yeah.
There are very few of us that have reached this stage of life that
Mm,
don't have diabetes or high blood pressure,
mm,
and at the end of the day, all of those illnesses are
right.
food based. All
Right.
of them can be traced back to what we eat. So
Mm,
it's important. what we eat, how we eat, when we eat, it's all very important.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Well, I want to
But I'm
thank you.
thankful.
Mhm.
Thank you
Great,
for
great.
inviting me.
Yeah, yeah,
Even though it took me very long to manifest this,
yeah.
but it has helped me understand how important it is, just as you're saying, to
Mm.
share this information and put my reluctance and my shyness away, and to be able to share the
Yeah.
information that we have. And I'm sure it's going to be the first of many, you
Yes,
know, the first
absolutely.
of many. Yeah. So
So,
thank you very much, and
well,
continue on your healing journey.
yes,
I have 100% faith in you, and
yes.
you've gone this far. I know this is going to be completion.
Mm.
Completion. Yeah.
Amen.
100%
Amen.
faith in you, my brother.
Amen.
For you. You know that.
Yes. Thank
We
you.
passed we're past the stage of spiritual carer.
Yes.
Now I'll always be there to care, but you're my brother now.
Yes, definitely. Well, I tell you what, if anybody is watching this and they want to make contact with you to ask you a question or two or whatever it is, how can anybody find you?
Um, I don't have an actual
Social.
page,
Oh, okay.
social media page. I have an email number. I have an
Mm,
email address. Anybody is welcome to contact me via that. I'm hoping by next month I'm going to start a new podcast, because I'm going to be in the Caribbean,
right.
and I'm going to use that environment to enhance what I'm doing.
Hmm.
So there is that to look forward to. But for now, they can contact me by email, which is misshilary.hill@gmail.com.
Mm, okay. Thank you so much. And
Yes.
you're writing your book, isn't it? When is your book going to be?
Yes. Thank you. Yes. I hopefully that's going to be something I'm going to be able to finish in the Caribbean.
Mm,
I spent some time this year there writing it, and just being there gives me more inspiration.
right.
I am really condensing all this information and putting it in that book. And hopefully within the next 3 months, I
Mm,
should be thinking about publishing. It's
right.
going to be entitled Return to Naturality, which is basically what this whole experience has done.
Yeah.
Led me back to nature, led me
Right.
back to the source, the
Mm,
mother. And yes, I'll let you know. I'll let you
amen.
know when
Thank you.
that's finalized. But
Nice.
bless you, and thank you so, so much for the invitation. Thank you for everyone that tuned in, everyone that listened, um, anyone that was able to get any greater understanding from
Yeah.
this podcast. Thank you very much for being present, and for your time.
Yeah. Thank you. And once again, this is the lady, Hills Natural. She's the person who
Bless
healed me
you.
from diabetes, because I was always stage two, type two, I should say, diabetes for over 20 years. And within 2 months of really knuckling down with this alkaline diet, I was able to defeat it. I was also able to heal my atrocious 200 over 160 blood pressure readings. It was crazy.
Mm.
I went through 3 mild strokes and gotten through it. And to be able to
Yes.
beat it now, I'm on my journey to, I'm definitely going to beat it. So I'm using those words. I will be victorious over
You
cancer.
will. You're a general, general. There's no battle. You fought the hardest battle and won. So
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
you fought
As,
the
as,
hardest battle. You're and been victorious.
absolutely.
Yes, I have full
So,
faith in
myself,
you, man.
we are going to get
Bless
out of
you
here.
and thank
Here,
you.
natural. I love you like cooked food, man. So
Bless you, and
if
you
we
know I
come
love you
and
too.
and thank you for giving us this knowledge. And I'm going to be looking out for that book, and
Thank you.
hopefully we'll be able to bring you back again sometime. Maybe when you go
Thank you,
to
my brother.
America. Yeah, man.
Bless you and love you.
Take care.
Take
People,
care.
we're going to get out of here. And next week, Saturday, I'm going to be having a conversation with a lady called, well, a queen. She's a Suriname artist from the Netherlands. She's going to be my guest on the Up Close and Personal show. Sharon Mango will be back here sitting in the seat.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, so she'll be back on the seat. And then on Sunday, we're going to be having a conversation with a Trinidadian artist. She's going to be with us, Yashamani. She's going to be our guest on Sunday. So join us on Saturday and Sunday. So in the meantime,
Yeah.
between then, we gone. Hills, God bless.
Bless you. Love always.
I
Bless
want to
you.
thank DJ Maestro, Live Reggae Daily. Thank you for being there. Abena, Hills, Abena wants you to send her those charts if you could.
I will.
Yeah. And thank you to anybody else who was in the building, logged in. Thank you so much for your listening ears. We're going to get out of here. Hills, later.
Bless you.
Well, all I can say is slide